Hey Surendra, it's Rich. What's going on? Let's see. I think you can see my screen. Um, I met with the development crew on Friday, and I'm a little nervous just about this whole thing, just in the sense that, anything that was not a direct one-to-one copy um, from like the lightning that we took the screenshots from and things like that was not out of the box. So let me go to an example. Okay, so let me just look. Account account details. That's not what I'm looking for. So let's do group assignments. Okay, so you'll see that I've made changes here in the start and end date, and I promise I will make sure I send you this file, unlike the last time, because I really want you working from this file. I think I was able to copy everything over for the most part. I'll have to take a look one last time before I send it to you. But we went over this, and you'll see that I had to add this extra sort of, I felt it was important that the users wanted to see like a 1 day, 2 days, because that's what SLAs are about, that they wouldn't make sense of this. But unfortunately, we're not able to combine. Like we had this combined. We had a start date, we had the SLA, and then we had a due date. Or we just had the due date in an SLA format: 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 5 days. Unfortunately, they couldn't, they brought up searching, they brought up this, that. They couldn't do color, they couldn't combine from day to date. They could do either one or the other. So that's why I broke it out into two columns. If you have a suggestion that you feel might be better on this, um, let me know. But for the most part, I think in theory, we have this set. So everything looks good. When I spoke to the BA about making multiple changes, so you'll see here. I'm clicking on. I sorted by owner, so just so that we could combine Jim's stuff, right? And I clicked here. Um, and then you go to actions, reassign tasks. They liked this version here, so we're going to move forward with this version where, let's say there was a lot of these, this could actually just scroll, but it goes task by task. Oh, I have to take out this use. I'll remove this. Use this team member for all other task reassigning. So we'll take that out. But basically, we're going to allow the user to, do this type of change. So they'll make these changes to these, and then they'll click reassign, and then these have been reassigned to Danielle Harrison. Originally, I had the screens, the background, like when you selected in version 1.2, when you selected these rows, the rows would highlight. And then when you made that change, they would highlight again to just show you made the change. Of course, that's out of the box. That's not out of the box. It's custom, so I took it out for the time being. So. So I guess the only thing I've been trying to map, and I'll send you my PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint here. That's not it. See if I can open scenarios 1.2 draft. And I'll send this to you. Um, so I basically went through some of the scenarios here. These are the user stories that were essentially, and this is part of that Excel document. These are the user stories that had to do with notifications. This was the user story that had to do with SLA. I did a manager view of the SLAs. I'm going to have to swap these because these are old screenshots, so I need to update those screenshots. member of the group, basically group view, and we had the group view and the single view, and there were two stories that are associated to that, 366 and 302. User stories that talked about task reassign. I grouped all these together, and it looks a little messy, so we may have to. I may put these as single. I'm all over the place. My apologies. These, when I talk to business on this, I'm going to go through this deck, and so I'll show the deck, and then we'll go to the PowerPoint, and then we'll go to the prototype. Go back to the deck, go to the PowerPoint, and we'll the PowerPoint, and then go back to the Acture file, and we'll sort of ping pong back and forth just so that we can show them what we were doing, and then taking it from there. Here, again, for the member reassign, we can do this. It's user story 359. Now, I have 359 here, but I think in the deck, in the prototype, it's, oh yeah, well, it's 93, I think, so I have to look at that. As a manager, I want to modify a team member from an account. So that is actually 175 as well. So I don't know why I put 359. As a manager, I want to add a member to multiple accounts. Okay, so I'll have to look at these user stories. If you could just take a look, I have these logged as, I guess there was a lot of duplication or something, so I need to go back with the BA and try to finalize these, so we're getting so tight on this. It's tough to track them down to do anything. And then the prototype user guide. So I was gonna, like we did for Deloitte, I sort of just did a walkthrough, and I'll do this for the PowerPoint deck too for this one, where I'll explain to them, because I want to give them this I want to give them this deck and let them just walk through and do the prototype on their own. So I'll walk through what this whole navigation is, to walk through this, so they'll know that they could do certain things. Oh, I can click on that, right? And I can click on actions, and I can add a team member, so. This gives them everything that they could be clicking on to change it. So, if you see this, so I got to change this because I've made these yellow, and they should not be yellow. So, which is going to be interesting because I don't know how they would see. I'm going to leave these yellow at this point because I know development's been pushing back, but there's no indicator. How do we, if I choose multiple accounts and I add a team member to it, so the thought process is I'd walk them through, do this. I would click actions, I would add a team member, and now this I just have clicking through, right? So I didn't actually type it in. I didn't want to do that. So you have the accounts here and two other accounts. I click Danielle Harrison. I can select a team role for them. I can change these if I want, and I can click add, and now they've been added. So that's what I would demo with the business, just to show them how I can add a single team member to multiple accounts. So so I'm going to leave the yellow because I don't think there's a way we can, unless you can come up with a way right now to indicate that without doing the yellow background. I mean, there's no other way, really. You would have to add an indicator here, other than new team member. I don't know. So I can go back with development and ask them that tomorrow. So there's a couple stories that we have not talked about. Default team for new accounts. As an exec, I want to have a default team automatically set up when I create a new account, so that I don't have to manually type in the account team roles for each account. Note. list the default team roles and users to be received from business. So I don't know how we want to visualize this, but essentially there's two things happening. There is you got to create the default team, and then you have to add the default team. So, oh, but this is different. So let's talk about the create default team. So if you, Surendra, was an account executive, you would go to your page, right? And you own accounts. You would have ownership of accounts. So it would be similar like the profile page. And I will go to that page now. I simplified the profile, the member profile page, only because, again, I just want to focus on the accounts and the work plan assignments. So that's, I don't want to focus, there's a lot of stuff that can be added here, and we'll have to have conversations on that. But right now, I just wanted to focus on these two things because this is where you can actually do stuff, right? So, so if you are an account owner, you would actually add one more group down here saying default team, and then you would list 3 or 4 members that were part of the default team, so that when you go to a new account, right? So my accounts, you would have actions, remove from accounts, you would have new account. We would add new account here under my accounts, and you would have all the information you'd fill out. It would be a big form to fill out that would say all account information, and default team would be in there. But then, so you, I don't know. It's Sunday, dude. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've been trying to do this stuff and get this going. I should probably pause this. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I feel a little bit better. So I want to get the account. Here's what I need you to do. I want you to get the account team members, like one account team member, a manager, set up, and so that we can at least show the default team, and then add default team member, or at least we can talk to that a little bit, right? So I'm going to pause this again. I'm going to look for in the classic view because it may take me a little while. I don't want to waste your time. And let me see if I can find the default team, and then we can talk about that in the classic view. Okay, dude. Oh boy, what a pain in the butt. I was able to find this, which is, and I just can't seem to find it, like where they went. I was in the classic UAT environment, and I thought I'd be able to find it, and I wasn't able to find the default. I was looking essentially for the default account team, so you can see default account team here. So I am currently in the AIA proof of concept box. So I don't know if you have access to that or not. So I'm just going to try to walk you through this. I was trying to create it's a very high level. Basically, I'm a salesperson. I've mentioned this before. I'm a salesperson, and I just need to create a default team. That is tied to me as a salesperson. So when I create a new account, or when I add default members to a new account, my team automatically populates that. So that's how we want to do it. So I'd like to show that to business, just how we would work it through. And we have a lot of the components already. So we have that Jim Smith guy for his profile page. So I don't know if we want to duplicate that page, put it into the manager section with the user story 95 or something. So let's look. Like, I don't know if we want to put it in either, like, put it in this manager with the US 93. The story itself, I think the user story is like 94 actually. Default account team for new accounts, US 90, user story 94. And so it's basically just configuring it by role. So let me just walk through the existing version. So I'm going to do default account team here. I have it here. I'm going to add a member. So I'll click add. Now this gives you the ability to do 5 in a row. If we want to do that, we can. I would do it though using what we've done. So let me go down there. Here. So do a single reassign. I could do a single one. Can I do a single one here? Test this. No, I want to do the count results. And it's not like I have to click on those. Okay, so I would see us doing this, where we have contact access, opportunity access, case access, and team role and account access. I would use ours, which is this version here. So we have the 4. I'm pointing with my finger. So we have the 4 here. We have the search for the team name and account role. So I don't know if we want to do add and then add a new and cancel, and the account. I would take all this out because it's add default account team member, right? So I would say add or save, right? I guess I would do add a new, and cancel, So I would try to keep it to this page only, and then I would just continue to add those people and do it that way. Going back to this, so this is what they have currently. So they have, save, I don't know what save and more is in save, but essentially, remember, so it's a salesperson. So you go to the salesperson's page, his profile page. There should be a box underneath that says default team, and there can be none in there. Maybe there is, maybe we list 4 already, and then you can add more if you want. And I have that. I have a design of that under this right here, under user story 175. So this is essentially what the it would look similar to this, right? So, it may not be this columns, all these columns across. It may be half and half or whatever, but it would give you a list of the default team. And maybe it is in this list, like this is the list format at this point. So it may look like this, right? And then you would add to that. And then eventually you come back to this account. So this is the core. This is the account team that is currently on this account, MD Lucky. And so I already have the patterns for just modifying account teams. So like in this case, I can do account team add an account team member. I will add one. Jim Olson. Select a role, doesn't matter, and blah, blah, blah. And then it adds it. So Jim Olson has been added down here, and you'll see that there's no default. He's not a default team member, so there would not be a check. Then in theory, this guy could actually be removed because he's not a default team member. So we had discussions about whether he was default, whether a team member should be allowed to be deleted or not. I'm going to leave it for the time being because they don't know what they want yet. I think it should be an option, but if that role, I think the roles should not be allowed to be deleted. So if you have a default team of 5, of 5 different types of roles, maybe those roles don't get deleted. You at least have to have one person there, right? And then, so if you have 2 people that are benefit testers, and you delete the original default, then that second one becomes the default. But anyway, that's another thing. So you should be able to remove the team member. I have him removing right here. Yes, removing, and he's done. So no big deal. So anyway, I would focus, if you could, um, creating that default, that manager page, like the manager profile page. I would also focus on um, creating a default team, and I would focus on, and then maybe, I guess at this point I could say add default team. So maybe we can add an example that we add default team and then 5 members come here or something like that. I mean, I guess I can talk through that. That's no big deal. All right, so this is okay. I know there's something I'm forgetting. There was, I know when I was talking to them about mass updates, so group task reassignments and account roles. We did that, right? We did multiple changes. Right, add a team member. No, that's not it. That was, it must have been this one. It was on account team. I'm gonna have to talk to. I'll have to talk to Jessica tomorrow because we were gonna use. I forgot what it was, but we were gonna use. There was a story in here where we had a. I think you were trying to do a many-to-many update, and I didn't want to do a many-to-many update. But when she and I were talking, we liked the assign tasks. We liked this format where if you clicked many, and you could just click, you know, and select new team members for each one of these tasks. So I think we were going to do that with the account role, the team members too. So like you could select all of them, right? I think that's what it was. So you could do, you could select multiple team members, and I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could just do, replace team members, and then it would list all of them, and you could just, replace. So, and then in that case, these account roles actually should be able to be selectable as well, I'm assuming. So, anyway, I'm sorry I'm not a little bit more focused. I'm just tired. Just tired. So. All right, I hope this is helpful. I will also send an email, and I'll send this document and try to sum up some of the things I was looking for, essentially what user stories I'd want you to work on. Okay? All right.